Let me see here. See if we on the thing live on the tube. Everybody's like, we can't even hear you.
It was weird because I heard your music when you started your music, and then when everybody else in your chat started saying they couldn't hear you, I was like, well, maybe there's something going on because I definitely heard your music and all. I was like, well, maybe I don't know, but I was like, I know I did everything right. I know I did.
Yeah, so we back here. Big game James and Murphy Law tried to stop us. It tried to stop us, but we can't. We pushed through. We got the fresh cuts. I got my fresh cut. You ain't
Man, who
seen
you
with that.
telling?
You
Man, I
feel
had to get
me?
mine too.
You feel
Yeah,
me? You got the
yeah,
fresh cut. I got the fresh
yeah.
cut. No hat today. I'm like, nah, we ain't going out like this, dog. We done did all this. This is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So we got it through. It's going down today. What's going on, my dog? Kevin Gray Jr. from 105 The Fan, Mavericks, Cowboys, all that. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good to be with you. I appreciate the invite, man. And you got a real good thing going. So I was like, I must have made it because Big Game James gave me the call.
Oh,
So
don't
I
do
was
that.
like,
Don't do
I
that.
must have made it. I must have made it because Big Game James gave me the call. So I was like, well, let me get my stuff together. Let me get my cut together, and let me be right. So I'm not out here embarrassing myself in front of you. So I appreciate the invite, man. Good to be here.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. I had to make sure I got the fresh because I said, hey, man, Kevin said he going to be on next week. Let me make sure it's all fresh and cut. You know what I'm saying? I did the razors and cut this. I said, nah, I got to go to the barber and get all this cut so I can be
Yeah.
fresh for we can do this thing tonight, man. I really appreciate you jumping in here, though. We about to have a good time, though. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out for everybody coming in here. Let me give a shout out for a few people, Big Dog, before we go in this. People in the building, KMT, The Ninja, Craig, English, Dre, Boo Thang, Sadiq Charles, Tommy Skull. What's up with y'all? Keep on coming in. I know we had to shut it off. Y'all like, we can't hear you. You're muted, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, come on back. It's part 2. It's Murphy's Law just try to mess this up, but we back here doing our thing. But hey, man, how's everything going with you?
It's good, man. Busy as ever. Mavericks obviously got the last couple games of the regular season to finish up, and then the playoffs start, and then got rookie mini camps this week. So get our first looks at guys like Micah Parsons and others. So you know how it is this time of the year. You come off the draft, you got undrafted free agent signing, trying to keep up with that. And then you got rookie mini camps and stuff going on. Still a little bit of free agency that's still left for any guys that are still out there. So it's a busy time right now. Rangers are playing, baseball these days, the baseball season going on. So it's a busy time right now, but everything's good, man, especially over at 105.3 The Fan. We're busy these days. We're the home of the Rangers and the Cowboys, of course. So it's always something to talk about when it comes to this time of the year for sure.
Well, that's definitely, man. And I want to go ahead and start with that background before we jump into the sports aspect of this. But before we talk about that, though, I checked a little bit about your background. You a James Bond fan?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so reason why
You
I
did
said
your
that,
homework. So, see, I do like to come correct.
see,
Okay,
I
all
don't play
right.
around.
All right, all
See,
right.
I said, okay, he do 007. The reason why I said that because I just happened to be watching happened to watch some movies, and I just happened to watch GoldenEye, and I was like, and after you watch one James Bond movie, it just starts showing a whole bunch of them, like
Uh-huh.
just in order, and I'm like, James Bond was my dude. Now I'm not a James like the intricacy of it, but I mess with James Bond. Now I want
Okay.
to ask you something. So my guy, when I was coming up, I'm a little older. I didn't get to see Sean Connery. He's a beast, but I didn't get to see Sean Connery. My guy was Roger Moore. I was the
Okay.
Roger Moore era, and I was mad when Roger Moore didn't do it no more. I was mad. But when they had Pierce Bronson, is that the name?
Yep. Pierce
I was
Bronson.
like, I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, okay, because I remember Pierce from Remington Steele. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I can deal with Pierce because he has that kind of the edgy James Bondish type. I can deal with them. But after Pierce, I didn't mess with him. So I'm just asking you, James Bond, who was your favorite Bond guy?
So I'm a classic Sean Connery guy, but my favorite is the current one, Daniel Craig. I thought,
Really?
Daniel Craig to me has brought a real grittiness to the
Mm-hmm.
Bond character. I
Mm-hmm.
think they've done a lot better storytelling since he's taken over the Bond role. So we could talk about movies like, Spectre and Casino Royale and, Quantum of Solace, all these movies that he's been in. Skyfall was one of my favorites for sure. He's brought a real, raw, genuine, different feel to the character for James Bond, and his storyline and his arc has been that of a guy who is getting older, coming to grips with himself as a guy who's getting older, but still doing the things that he does as James Bond. He's still the James Bond that we all know and love. And Casino Royale is one of my favorites too. So Daniel Craig's been my favorite one, just because I think the storytelling and his character arc has been much better than some of the other ones. Because some of the other ones, like the Dr. Knows of the world, the Golden Eyes, they can come off a little cheesy, but I feel like there's been a real raw realness to Daniel Craig's version of James Bond. So he's my favorite.
All right. Well, see, I'm glad you said that, because after Pierce, because when they left Roger, I was mad. I was like, I ain't watching James Bond no more, because I'm a Roger Moore guy. Like, I don't give a hell. I mess with Roger Moore. I remember watching him when he was flying the helicopter and he grabbed the Chinese dude. And he was on the he was in the wheelchair and he grabbed him and then he dumped him in the thing. I was like, oh, I love James Bond. That's just my dog. You feel me? So now that you said that, I'm gonna go ahead and I said I'm boycotting Bond, but now I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna look in there and I'm gonna say, hey, Kevin told me to check this guy out, so I'm gonna look at him now and I'm gonna evaluate this Bond.
Start with Casino Royale and you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
I am definitely going to do that. Now, a lot of people are feeling you on this, so I'm going to agree, because a lot of people in the chat are like, yeah, go check it out. So we'll go ahead and do that. But let's talk about where you got this start, man. You with 105.3 The Fan. You're doing your thing, man. You've been killing, especially with that Mavs basketball, man. Killing it on YouTube. The subs are going crazy. So how'd you really get your start in this business and get on with 105 The Fan?
It's crazy, man. So this is 2021. So back in 2014, so I had moved to Texas from Missouri. I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. Went to school at the University of Missouri, and was in Columbia until I left Columbia, Missouri, until I left in 2013. So in the late summer, fall of 2014, I was, my best friend at the time, we were just chopping it up, talking, sports, just having our normal, just sports conversation.
Right.
And I was like, we should do this like on a podcast or something, bring these conversations that we have and just do it like, on a podcast. So he was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. So in September of 2014, I started what was called Clutch Talk Sports Radio. So we would do a podcast weekly, just talking about sports and what was going on at the time. And we started it in October of 2014. So as time went on, I kept going with it, started getting some traction, building up kind of a small little Twitter following. And guys and, gals started following, like what I was doing. So I had my stuff on SoundCloud, a platform called Live 365, some older streaming platforms. And then I got picked up by an independent network called Sports Radio America. They are based in Louisville, Kentucky, and my producer was in Florida. And he had heard me, I guess, on a show that I was doing, and he liked what he heard, and he wanted to come on my show, regularly, and, just chop it up about sports.
Right.
So after a couple of years, so this is now November 2017, after doing my show for a couple of years, I got on with their network, their independent network, and I had a daily show, a daily internet sports radio show that I was doing.
Right.
And did that for a couple of years. And then fast forward to June of 2019. So they had the 105.3 The Fan had the Fan Phenom contest.
Right.
So they had 5 different locations. You could come try out and, try to get on, with the fan at the end of the tryout. So I went to 2 tryouts, the very first one and then the last one at Hero. And the one, I think it was at Hambone Willie's, the first one, I did a spot with Kevin Turner, who of course is with Ben and Skin these days.
Right.
And Gavin Spittle, my program director, he was like, yeah, like what you heard, like what I heard, definitely come back for another trial. I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do the first one and I'll do the last one. So I did the last one. So the last one was at Hero, right there at the American Airlines Center. And I did my spot with Chris Arnold that night.
Right.
And Gavin was like, okay, we'll check back with you in a few days. So he called me a few days later, said, you're one of the 3 finalists for, the Fan Phenom. I was like, okay, all right,
that's
cool.
Nice. Right.
So
yeah.
Fast forward a couple weeks later, I do the spot. It was 3 of us. We each got a 15-minute segment to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in, bam, I think I nailed it, right? Think I killed it, my 15 minutes, this, that, and the third.
Right.
I wound up not winning the Fan Phenom. My good buddy now, Sterling Daniels, he won it at the time. And what was wild was I found out that I didn't win it on my wedding anniversary. So I was on vacation thinking, oh, man, I'm finna celebrate. I'm finna win this Fan Phenom contest. I'm on vacation. Bruh, I'm in Jamaica, Montego Bay, chilling. My wife, she's like, oh, you're gonna get the call, babe. You're gonna be, on 105 through the fan.
Yeah, we about to
cannot wait. Get the call, get the voicemail, which is funny because I still had that voicemail. I'll get into that a little later, but I still got that voicemail that he left me saying that I didn't win the contest because he couldn't get a hold of me because I was, overseas or whatever. So yeah, I didn't win it, but I didn't quit. So I didn't win it. Sterling won the contest, but it was a few months later in October. I kept telling us, look, man, I'm gonna bother you. Like, I'm not gonna stop. So hopefully at some point you go listen to my tape. So I kept sending them stuff. Yeah. Then October, he finally listened to some of my stuff. He's like, yeah, we'd like to bring you on to the Fan. So December of 2019 is when I officially got on with 105 through the Fan. After not winning the Fan Phenom contest, I stayed in contact with him. I told him, like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to continue to, pursue this. And fortunately, it worked out. And then I guess they say the rest is history from there. So,
hey, man, first of all, that's dope. I mean, that's inspiration for anybody, for real. Just saying that you didn't win, but I don't care. This is just because I didn't win. I ain't giving up. I'm just gonna bother you. I have something to bring to the table, and I want you to hear this because I can be an asset. And guess what? Here you are right now, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. We doing the daggone thing right now because of your persistence. Because if you weren't persistent, me and you wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah, it's kind of wild because I talk to Chris about it all the time because he's my partner, every weekend.
Right.
And knowing that I did my last tryout with him and not knowing that I was going to be working with him, week after week, it's just kind of surreal to think about. And for folks who don't know, I'm a 3rd generation Dallas Cowboy fan. My great uncle, rest in peace, Willie Towns, played for Tom Landry from 1966 to 1968. And he was a starter in the Ice Bowl on the defensive line, went to the University of Tulsa, did his thing. So this isn't like the blue and silver is in my blood. So to be able to talk about the Dallas Cowboys on the home of the Cowboys, knowing the lineage that I come from when it comes to this football team, it's kind of surreal every time I get on air because to go from what my great uncle was and playing for this franchise to now being able to talk about him, day in and day out, is kind of wild. So that's part of my motivation is that, I'm trying to keep up with the legacy that was, preceded me a couple of generations. So, that's definitely part of my motivation for sure.
I definitely feel that. Now, I ain't on that level with you as far as that, but when I went to media school and I had a goal in mind because I'm born and raised Fort Worth, Texas. My whole family, we rep the Cowboys. My father, may he rest in peace. He was, he can bang with anybody as far as Cowboys fandom. I mean,
yeah,
it was out the womb. It was nothing else but Cowboys. I had no choice. Like when people say, I can't like nobody else because there's no choice. It was in my blood from the very beginning. So to me, just like as you said, it's surreal for me that me being able to get on this platform and be able to go to media school and be able to, I had hey, I want to be able to interview. I want to be able to get close to the Cowboys, and I'll be able to do that in a short time. So, as you said, it's surreal when I got to interview a Darren Woodson. I
Yeah.
watched you, dog, when I was young. I watched
Yeah.
y'all, George Teague. I watched you guys. I kicked it. Like, I was watching Barry Church. You know what I mean? I watched those guys, and to be able to sit there and say you was on my show, you was on my platform. We got to kick it. We got to talk. I'm talking about all kind of things with you. That is still surreal with me because it's like I never thought it was going to happen. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
No, right there with you.
from afar, you're like, wow. But then when you get into it, you're like, I can do this. I can do this. I want to be able to do this, and to be able to say, yeah, I have been able to do that. Like I said, it is a surreal feeling because, I never thought from a young age that I was being able to interview some of my guys I always looked up to in the football realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. The first time that I had the chance to talk to Stephen Jones on air, I had to pinch my co-host because I said no. I said no, wait.
He
Because I
said,
knew
"Don't
coming
choke
into
up.
work,
Don't you choke up."
I was coming into work today. I said, dude, I'm gonna get the chance to talk to Stephen Jones today. And again, being a Cowboys fan, you don't ever get to think that you're
Right.
gonna talk to,
The
Stephen and
man.
Jared.
He's the man.
Exactly.
He's the
Yeah.
man.
And to talk to him, I was like, wow. But yeah, I'm right there with you, talking with Darren Woodson. He's a terrific interview. Had a chance to have him on my podcast just like you did. Terrific interview. Like, it's just, you have to pinch yourself because one, you realize the responsibility of being able, because look, we know what it is with Cowboys Nation.
Right.
Anything that comes out about this team, folks is latching on to it and
Right.
got something to say about it. So
Right.
to be able to be a part of that and, talk about this team and talk with folks like yourself and others who care about and cover this team, it's a special deal, man. It really is.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, man. I'm definitely glad you came on here, man. It's been a pleasure already. I just love your personality, man, and I hope we can do this again, man.
Definitely.
I see why you got on. I see why people they brought you on. You're good. I'm just keep it real. You're good, and I hope you continue to grow. And I wish you everything but the best, nothing but the best and beyond. You got a great spirit, and I love talking to you already. But let's talk about some sports right now, right quick, big dog.
Let's
Let's
do
talk
it.
about some Mavericks basketball, and then we'll end it with some Cowboys football. Now, I haven't been able to stay with the Mavs as much as I want. In the beginning of the year, I did. But when it started getting hot and heavy with Cowboys football, I kind of like, I'm
Yeah, you
going.
gotta do your thing.
You feel me? I gotta put you Mavs on the back burner. I gotta put you on the back burner. I gotta go hard on these Cowboys right
That's
now.
right.
But
Yep.
I'm gonna just keep my eye on it's gonna be looking. It's gonna be looking on the side like, what's going on with these Mavs? They ain't tripping now. But right now, they're the 6th seed, correct? The 6th seed.
They are 6th seed right now. That's right.
Now there's a couple games left. Now between the Clippers and the Nuggets, is it going to affect those two games that they have at the end? Is it going to affect who they're going to play, or are they locked in against the Clippers?
So if they finish with the 5th seed, they will play the Denver Nuggets in the first round. If they finish with the 6th seed, they will play the Los Angeles Clippers in the first round. So a lot of folks feel like they want to see the Nuggets for the Mavs, just given they won the season series. I mean, they won the season series against the Clippers and the Nuggets.
Right.
But a lot of us feel like the better matchup for the Mavericks in the first round would be against the Nuggets, because the Clippers feel different than what they did last year when they got bounced out by Denver in the West semis. But yeah, that's how it would go if the Mavericks finished as the 5th or the 6th seed, either the Clippers or the Nuggets in the first round.
Now, who would you want? Because I've heard some people talk about it. Now, who would you want as a matchup? From me, from afar, I would say probably me with the Nuggets because I know Jamal Murray. Because if they had a Jamal Murray, I'm like, no, because Jamal Murray gonna kill us. Okay. But with Jamal Murray out, maybe it's a bet, but they still got dogs on their team. It ain't like they bums, but they're not the same team. But you got the Clippers. I mean, they just got Cousins. They added to their team. What would you prefer as the matchup with the Mavericks going into the playoffs?
So for folks who don't know, I'm a pro wrestling fan, and Ric Flair had a saying, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the Mavericks, the man that they got to beat is the Clippers. Like, I would love that matchup again. Now, for matchup purposes, the better matchup for them is the Nuggets. I think they match up better with them. I mean, even though the Nuggets have been good since they got Aaron Gordon from
Right.
Orlando.
Oh
And
man, that was a great trade for them.
yeah, it was a really good trade for them. And Michael Porter Jr., who stepped up
Yes.
big time
Yes.
for them this year, he's been really
Yes.
good. And they got the MVP in Nikola Jokic, who,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, arguably, other than Joel Embiid, the best center in the game right
Right.
now.
Right.
But for some reason, the Mavericks have played them tough and have had their number over the last couple of
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not afraid to go into their building and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
They did so earlier in overtime this year. So I think the Mavericks, I don't think they're afraid of either matchup. But I
Mm-hmm.
think given the success that they've had against Denver over the last couple of years, I think they would match up better with the Nuggets in the first round if they needed to.
Right. So let's say they go to these Clippers. Do you think they can pull the upset? I mean, we saw it last year, and it was nobody gave them no chance, and they came in doing the thing. Do you think it can happen this year? Because here's my problem with this: KP didn't play in that series last year. You feel me? So KP need to play in this series this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because he played in the first few games and got hurt. So Marcus Morris wound up. He was the one that wound up, hurting the meniscus that he had. And when he was in there,
he was dogging him.
Yeah.
Killing him.
Killing him.
Getting
30 and 10.
30 and 15, just destroying
Porzingis was killing him.
Right.
And that's what I think a lot of Mavs fans feel like, man, if only Porzingis was healthy. We say that a lot about Porzingis, obviously, with his health.
Right.
But if he had been healthy, who knows? That could have been a 7-game series, or they could have wound up getting the upset. I mean, Luka won a game with a buzzer beater in that series, and Porzingis, before he got hurt, was killing them.
He was dominating them.
I would say, though, this year, this is a different Clippers team from this standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time they got to the end of their road in the bubble last year, the message was falling on deaf ears with a guy like Doc Rivers, and they needed a change.
Right.
Ty Lue, fresh voice. The biggest thing with the Clippers has always been, can Paul George do what Paul George does in the regular season? Because he's been real good this year, but I want to see him do it in the playoffs. I just think that's not as good a matchup for the Mavericks, given the defensive length that they have, the ability with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and you mentioned DeMarcus Cousins and others. They run bodies at you. They can go 8, 9, 10 deep. With the Clippers and the Mavericks, they can go 8 deep, but they can't roll as deep as the Clippers can. So I think the Clippers would take them out in the first round. I think they would have a better shot against the Nuggets in the first round.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you like that. I think Paul George really wants. I think he's ready for these playoffs because he really wants to prove people that I ain't that guy, and I think he's going to really play good in these playoffs this year because people don't forget that they trying to dog him with the Clippers. When he was with them Pacers, dog, he was an animal in the playoffs.
Man.
He was the one he was an animal, so they can't really throw that on him like that because he was an absolute animal with the Pacers in the playoffs. He's the one that carried them. So people need to, remember those things about Paul George. But let me ask you this. I wanted to talk to you about this KP situation. Me personally, from looking afar, I when KP came over, I was down with that. I was like, yes, him and Luka, I think they can be the 1-2 and then build around that. I still haven't tried to run away from it, Kevin, but these injuries are concerning. And then you had the issue with Mark Cuban coming out saying, oh, well, they cool, but they ain't all cool outside of basketball. And KP like, what you talking for me for? And so, I mean, that to me is alarming when your owner comes out and says those type of things. I know Cuban does those type of things, but what's going on with KP? Do you feel like, is this going to be something that's going to stay long term, or is this what's going on with this situation?
It's wild because, you got Porzingis for pennies on the dollar when you traded for him from New York, along with Tim Hardaway and those guys. And when he is healthy, and folks are going, wild out when I say it, but when you look at the kind of mismatch that he is, he's 7'3", he can shoot from 3, he can put the ball on the deck, he can block shots. There really isn't a bigger mismatch in the NBA than maybe Kevin Durant with the skill set that Porzingis has. Now, I'm talking about the offensive skill set. Like, Porzingis is a unique dude. It's just the fact
he's
that
the unicorn.
Yeah, they call him a unicorn for a reason.
Right.
Like, there's not too many dudes at that size that can do what he does, but the question will always be about his health. And what Cuban said about, him and Luka not necessarily having the best relationship, off the court, I felt was a little unwarranted, only because a lot of that has been drummed up by fans who watch their interactions on the court.
Right.
They really don't, dap each other up all the time
Right.
and those kinds of things. And folks have made their own assumptions about what Luka and KP's relationship is on and off the floor. And then for Cuban to say, well, yeah, there are times have been dust ups between the two of them. It's like, well, okay, even if that is the case, I don't know
talk
if
about that.
Yeah, you don't need to say that. You don't need to say that out loud. And then you mentioned with, KP kind of clapping back at it like, yeah, I don't know what Cuban's talking about because I've never had a problem with my teammates. I'm going to be the guy that's, a soldiering out here and try to, do what I can to be on the floor with my team and do the best I can to help this team win. And Porzingis honestly didn't help himself. It was after, I think it was a Milwaukee game at home. Him and Luka had a couple of connections where he hit him for a couple of threes or something like that. And, the question was asking, what's your relationship with him? And he really didn't give the best of answer to kind of reassure people that him and Luka was cool.
Right.
So
and
he was
they
like,
ran with it. They ran with
man.
it.
Exactly. Mavs Twitter is something else, man. Because folks, they was getting after it on social media. They was
Did
killing.
somebody mention him like is KP like the Tony Romo? Somebody said like is KP the Tony Romo of the Cowboys? Is he like the Tony Romo of the Mavericks?
It's funny. I tweeted that out today.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's just
is he?
He gets hurt like Tony Romo did. Tony Romo stayed hurt. But and folks will come at me like, Kevin, don't put that's an insult to Tony Romo. Like, look, I get it. I was thinking about it more so from like the injury standpoint. Romo stayed hurt, unfortunately, throughout his career. But Porzingis is a different kind of dude, man. Like, that's the other part. Porzingis gets down with his business a little differently than Luka does. Luka's a gamer. He's 22 years old, man. He liked to play Fortnite and video games. Look, KP out here, in his Mercedes all the time,
KP,
chilling.
Yeah, KP be chilling.
Yeah, KP chilling.
Be chilling. When I see KP, that's why I was like tripping off of Mark Cuban, because when I look at KP, I feel like who gonna hate on KP as far as in the locker room, because he's a chill dude. Like, I don't see who will be tripping on KP because he just looked chill.
Yeah. He seemed like he's just a dude that just relax and he can get down with his business a little differently. And it is what it is. But, for what Porzingis is as a player and what he brings to the table, to me, the Mavericks are better with him than they are without him, given what he does for them, on a night in, night out basis when he's healthy. But like I said, that'll always be with him because he's got the ACL injury, had the meniscus injury. He's got a little bit of a wrist injury that he's dealing with, the knee soreness. It seems like it's always something with Porzingis, and a lot of fans they're just over it at this point.
I'm going to keep it real. I'm over it too, because it's like when you need him, he hurt. And you need him. That's why they traded for you to come over here and be the guy. And it's let's take it to football. We all love Sean Lee, right? We love Sean Lee. Sean Lee was a dog. We all said Sean Lee could have been in the Hall of Fame, but you was always hurt. And that's what frustrated you about Sean Lee. And it's getting to the point with KP. It's like, come on, man, we love you, but every other week is something with you. And I mean, you're getting paid like the dog, like the man, and you got to have availability. The one thing that makes you great is availability.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting paid $150 million to be out there playing games. And I think folks look at his contract, the amount of games that he hasn't played, and they feel like they haven't gotten the value based on what he's being paid by this franchise to be the number 2 to Luka Doncic. And all I could hope is that, and he's talked about this too, is that hopefully this offseason he'll get a full offseason, because he came back a little bit earlier than expected, because the season started a little bit earlier. He had the meniscus surgery late. So that kind of put him behind the 8 ball in terms of his rehab and his recovery.
Right.
So once this season is over with, hopefully he'll have a full offseason to get his body fully healthy, so that they can fully turn him loose going into the next season, because they've done some real load management with him to try and just make sure that he's ready by the time you get to the playoffs. But hopefully this offseason, he'll have the opportunity to get the kind of rehab and rest that he needs to, so that they can turn him loose next year.
Yeah, well, that's got to happen, and I hope he doesn't have that injury issue in the playoffs, because the Dallas media is not going. He can't miss no games in these playoffs, man.
Twitter gonna kill him.
They're
if
going
he
to kill
winds
him.
up getting hurt in the playoffs,
they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him, man. So I just hope he's ready mentally to be able to deal with this, because you're about to get the business if you're hurt in any kind of game in this series, especially, let's say, Kevin, if it's a 2-2 series and he's hurt when it's a critical game. Oh my goodness. You don't know what you're dealing with, KP. You about to get the fire, bro.
All the smoke.
Man, you about to get all that smoke. So be ready, KP. If you don't listen to any channel, listen to Big Game James channel tonight and get your mind right. So get your mind right, because it's coming. But let's switch to some Cowboys football, big dog. Like, the rookie minicamp starts tomorrow.
Yep.
It's back in full swing. We don't have the COVID effects like it was last year. It was such a bummer last year. I was so excited about getting the camp with the new coaching staff and everything, and COVID just kind of wiped all that out. Rookie minicamp starts tomorrow. Just from afar, how do you feel about – let's talk about the draft first. How did you feel about – what was your grade? I know they haven't put the pads on, but what was your initial grade of the Cowboys draft this year?
I gave it a B, because they addressed the needs for the most part in this draft. For me, James, I didn't like the way they went about it. That's just me.
Talk to me. Yeah,
I didn't like the way they went about it. So, okay, you trade back to get to 12 to get Micah Parsons. You get the extra third round pick. Okay, no harm, no foul. The way that I would have gone about it, just based on the needs that the Cowboys had. Look, you had a chance to solidify your offensive line for the future. Rashawn Slater was still there. You lost out on the corners. Okay. You lost out on Horn. You lost out on Surtain. I know that they went defense because he was the quote-unquote best defensive player available, and you had a need to address the defensive side of the ball in the first round. But to me, I would have taken Slater with the number 12 overall pick, with him still being available. Then you go to the second round. At that point, you've got 44, 75, and 84, your first three picks in the second and third rounds. So to me, why not maybe create a package where you use 44 and 75 to move up even further at the beginning, at the top of the second round? Go get you a Trevon Merrick out of TCU, maybe a Richie Grant. Address your safety position, because we know you haven't addressed that in the way that you needed to for years, and then start building the back half of your defense, or start addressing, I should say, your linebacker core or your, defensive line, the way that they did, with Osa Odigizua from UCLA, because I feel like you could have been a little more efficient with addressing some of your needs based on what was available to you, and watching other teams be more aggressive than you to go get players that they felt like they needed. Like, it made me so upset when the Raiders of all teams traded right in front of you to go get Merrick.
And knew they were going to do that. Listen.
Kevin.
They did it the year before. The Raiders are notorious of doing that to us. So when I seen it said, ding, 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 the Raiders have traded ahead of Cowboys. When I seen that trade, I said, they're getting Trevin. So you're just going to let them just trade ahead of you. You know why they traded ahead of you. They did it.
Look, they thought that the Cowboys were going to go get him,
right?
Which would have made sense.
So, and then Stephen Jones has this chuckle and says, "Ha ha ha ha! They can have Trevin. We were looking for our corner. Ha ha ha!" So, okay, see, I agree with you on this. I agree with you on everything you're saying, because that's where I thought they were going. I thought they were like, okay, he's dropping, Trevin is dropping, we can go ahead and get him. When you felt them Raiders going after, man, come on, dog. Like, y'all had to get aggressive. When you saw at the first top of that draft, you should have got aggressive, said, we're going after our guy. We see too many of these teams that are saying, we ain't waiting. We're going to go ahead and do this now. Cowboys, in my opinion, I want to get your thoughts on this. Cowboys are just never aggressive because Stephen Jones is taking over that money situation. And they're always like, Yeah, we ain't gonna do that because we're always building for our future. It's like every year they building for the future. Every year is building for the future. It's never let's go get this now. It's we're okay because we're young and we're gonna be good for our future. But then the next year comes, it's the same thing. And then the next year comes, it's the same thing. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to get aggressive and say, it's time to win now. The
Exactly.
time is now. Because guess what? When we see the Rams or some of these other teams, they might be in salary cap hell, but they got some Super Bowls.
And they're going for it. Like
you feel me?
They may be leveraging their future. And I understand that side of it too. Like you may not necessarily want to leverage your future by trading away all the draft capital and assets that you could have to build your team through the draft. But for the Rams, they look at their situation, say, we've got a lot of talented players right now that we want to ensure that we are maximizing their prime. You know, the Aaron Donalds, the Jalen Ramseys of the world and all those guys. Let's go get a Matthew Stafford, you know, from the Detroit Lions. Let's go trade and do what we got to do to bring certain guys in here to make sure that we are competing right now. Future be damned at this point. We're trying to win football games right now. So I get both sides of that, wanting to build through the draft and home grow your guys. But the problem with the Cowboys is that, okay, cool. You draft your guys and home grow your guys, but you don't sign them once you get to that point where their rookie contracts in. Case in point, Byron Jones. That was a terrific pick in picking Byron Jones. You know, you had him at safety, you had him at corner, you got a lot out of him. Maybe you didn't get the interception numbers that you wanted, but he was still a very solid player in a solid corner. You just let him walk for nothing. I mean, you got a compensatory pick, but you basically let him walk to Miami, and he becomes the highest paid corner in all the NFL. Well, you say, Kevin, well, the Cowboys never pay corners, they never pay safeties, they never pay secondary players. At some point, you got to look around at the modern National Football League and say, how come the Patriots, the Steelers, the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, any number of teams that have terrific safeties, the Baltimore Ravens, how come these teams are successful defensively while we're sitting here not paying secondary players, not finding guys in the draft that we're going to find and sign once their rookie contracts in, and continue to build that way? So that's also folks in the chat, you know, talking about Donovan Wilson. You know, he's turned into a really nice player. You know, thumper out there, you know, is a strong safety. You know, he has been. But you got to address your free safety position at some point.
Right.
Like, just do something to give me confidence that you're keeping up with the modern times of the NFL is all I want.
And not even that, just Kevin. We got Donovan Wilson, and he was a late round draft pick. It's
exactly.
Like they won't. It's like you didn't get a safety early. Donovan Wilson was late. Everybody you get was late, even with the new kids you got now, late. And you're like, oh, well, we're going to put him at safety, 6th round draft pick. Okay. But he went in the 6th round. Like the Dogs, they don't go in the 6th round. They don't. They go early. The projection is early. You get them, and they're always trying to say, Stephen Jones, to me, is always trying to be the smartest guy in the bunch. He's always trying to say, well, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to convert him. He's going to do good. And then you're going to look at me and say, see, we didn't spend no money. See, I converted him and made him this. And see, we winning. I'm telling you, that's just what I feel, Kev. I just feel like that's what he's trying to be, the smartest person in the building. And just what you mentioned all those teams that are doing that. And what are they doing? They're consistently getting to the playoffs. They're consistently keep competing for championships because they're making these moves. Look at the Browns. Look at the Browns. They went from nothing. They said, we're going to make these moves. And I'm going to give Haslam, because he was the laughing stock of the NFL a few years ago. But what he do? He said, okay, I learned from my mistakes. I'm going to get this guy in place. I'm going to do this. I'm going to let him take care of this. I'm going to let this. And guess what? They're in the playoffs. Guess what? They got a really good team now. Guess what? They could be in the playoffs year in and year out. They got a young squad. They got good draft picks. And it's just, to me, from afar, when I look at this, it's just like Stephen Jones is like, okay, we're going to continue to sign our own, draft our rookies, and we ain't going to spend a lot of money in free agency. But to me, that's not a winning formula. That's a formula for, you'll compete, but you're never going to get that ultimate prize, because when you're trying to get the ultimate prize, you have to be aggressive in this game.
Yeah, you know, I tell folks, you know, scare money don't make money.
It don't.
I think at some point,
it ain't never have.
You know what I'm saying? So I think one of the things that has really scared this organization off, especially when it comes to paying secondary guys, that whole Brandon Carr deal.
That Brandon
Yeah,
Carr deal, and it's
yeah. When
Stephen
that
Jones. He won't touch them because of Brandon Carr.
exactly, signed it from the Chiefs, and it just didn't work out the way. I mean, he was a good player for the Cowboys, solid player, but for the amount of money that you felt like you spent on him, you felt like you could have got a little bit more, from what you got, with Brandon Carr. But yeah, man, that's the frustrating part about this team is that for the most part, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they've drafted well. They really haven't hit as well on the defensive end. They've hit with some later round picks, the Xavier Woods of the world, even with a couple of second round picks with guys like Cheeto Awuzie and others. But again, you let these guys walk once you get to the end of their rookie deals. So what's the point in drafting and developing these guys just to let them walk at some point? But you sign, Jalen Smith, a couple of years into his career because you thought you were getting ahead on him after his, good year back in 2018. And it hasn't worked out the way that you thought it would. You drafted Leighton Vander Esch, and now you've had to draft another linebacker for the second time in 5 years in the first round by drafting Micah Parsons. So defensively, they haven't been as good with early round picks as maybe they have been with later round picks, but you still got to sign your guys once you draft them.
I mean, and that's the thing. And just like you said, you had a situation with Byron Jones where he was at safety. He was more the corner. Y'all converted him as safety because y'all felt pressure because everybody's saying, you need a safety, you need a safety. All right, we going to move him to safety. He wasn't that guy. Safety wasn't a bad player, but he wasn't that guy. But you saw as soon as you put him at corner, he was that guy that you really wanted. So after you moved him to corner and he turned up and was really good for you, then you just let him walk. That don't make no sense to me. And just like you said, I just feel like the Cowboys are so offensive minded. That's why they draft so good offensively, because they're so offensive minded and they continue to put the defense on the back burner because they're like, as long as we can score points, we have a chance to win the game. You got to eventually stop some people, especially when you get to the playoffs. You have to be able to stop people. That's what's going to happen in the playoffs. It gets tighter. It's a tighter game in the playoffs all around in every sport, baseball, basketball, football. When you touch them playoffs, it's a tighter game, and you must have defense. That's one of the things you must have. So the thing I'm going to ask you right quick, Dan Quinn comes in the fold, okay? Mm-hmm. He is not the Mike Nolan. I can see him from afar. What are your thoughts on Dan Quinn, and how do you feel about him over on the defensive side now? Do you feel good about that?
I do. I think if this thing works out the way that the Cowboys hope it does, he will be the most important signing this offseason, maybe in the NFL, because of his track record defensively. I know what happened in the Super Bowl with, the Patriots and all of that, and that went down. But when you think about the defenses that he helped build, the Chris Richard and those guys out there, the Legion of Boom and those defenses out there, and more importantly, you hear from players like Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman and others who have played for this guy. They swear by him as a communicator, as a teacher, as a guy who will get the most out of each of these players that he's going to coach. But more importantly, he's going to build the kinds of relationships that allow them to be the best that they can under his coaching. And that to me is most exciting because, one, he already sounds more competent, more confident, and more sure of himself than any time we ever heard Mike Nolan, with hot sauce in his eye and all this other stuff he was out here doing. So I just feel better just from a confidence standpoint that this team will be in better positions to succeed based on the skill sets that they have, and he'll be able to bring the most out of them. And then you saw how much influence he had, especially in this draft, about the kind of players that he got. The Micah Parsons, the Kelvin Josephs. He drafted the two tallest corners in this draft,
right?
Corner out of Oregon State, and then the one out of South Carolina who they're going to turn into a safety,
right?
So his handprints are all over this defense. So I'm excited about what he can bring, because if he can help get this defense at least to a top 15 defense, and the expectation of what this team will be offensively this year, there shouldn't be any reason why this team can't win 11 or 12 games just by simply being competent on the defensive end, given how poor they were a season ago under Mike Nolan, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm agree with you from the night and day perspective of I didn't see when I listen to Mike Nolan, I don't expect you interview doesn't make or break you with me. But come on, man. When I would listen to Mike and Lola interview, I'm like, really? Okay. Hey, let's try to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my head like, let's try to make it happen. Okay, let's see. But then when I seen Dan Quinn in his first interview, I saw somebody who had a plan. I seen somebody who came assertive.
Facts.
I seen somebody who came strong with it. I seen somebody who had looked at his players and said, "Oh, yes, I have a plan for this player. Oh, yes, I have a plan for this. And yes, I want to do this." And checking these matchups. That's what I need to hear, because that's telling me that you're preparing yourself. You're on this. And also, what I also heard when he was like, "Yeah, this is a trial for me too. I have to prove." And guess what? I like that pressure. I want to be able to have that pressure to prove that I am the guy. I want to hear that, because it seemed like when Mike Nolan came in, was like, "Hey, my guy gave me the job. Thank you.
Facts.
I'm forever grateful. I really appreciate that. But hey," you know what I'm saying? Like, no, ain't no thank you. I'm grateful that you gave me the job. No, come in there aggressive, dog, because we need to make you know what I'm saying? We need to make changes. And I didn't see that from Mike Nolan. So that's where I got a little bit excited for Dan Quinn. Now, I ain't gonna lie, Kev. When they first brought him over, I was frustrated because I was like, Atlanta's soft. They just soft. Anything associated Atlanta just soft. I don't want him here. But then I said, Kev, I said, but you know what? Maybe some guys are better with one role. Mm-hmm. He was the head coach. He got many facets. If he just go back to just being the defensive coordinator and being great and focusing just on that and building the relationship with his team, I think it could be better for him. How do you feel on that statement coming from me on that aspect?
No, I completely agree with you. He's not going to be spread too thin anymore. His responsibilities are going to focus in on this defense, specifically with the defensive line, which he is known to help improve throughout his time in the National Football League. You know, he brought Joe Witt Jr. with him, you know, from Atlanta. He's going to focus in on the secondary, you know, with the Trevon Diggses of the world, the Kelvin Josephs of the world, and hopefully improve them from that standpoint, along with Al Harris. But he'll get to really focus in on improving the defensive line and getting this defense to be just more cohesive, to not have to think and be more reactionary when it comes to making plays, you know, on the football. So for me, that's the most exciting part about for me, is that he'll get to focus in on what he's good at and not to have to be the CEO of the program overseeing everything, but focus in on what the Cowboys need him to do. And that's improving the defense to get him to the point where there should be a top 15 defense just by better coaching, you know, with Dan Quinn, you know, taking over. So that's the part that excites me most about Dan Quinn.
Who was your favorite draft pick?
Oh man. That's tough. I'm going to go with, so I guess it's a tie for me. The receiver out of Stanford, because I just love offense.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, I like him. And I mean, I guess I'm going to go with the Parsons. Well, no, I just take that back. I'm going to go with the Kelvin Joseph one, because Parsons, that's a no-brainer when you're there at 12 and you do what you got to do to get, you know, arguably the best defensive player in the draft. Okay, no harm, no foul. But I'm really interested to see how this Kelvin Joseph thing is going to go, because
I'm scared about him.
I'm going
to keep it real, Kev. I'm scared about him.
He has no lack of confidence. That's one thing.
I like that, but
he's confident. But his best game, one of his best games he played against Devontae Smith in Alabama,
right,
which is like, okay, all right, you're playing against some of the better competition. Okay, I can work with that.
Right,
but so tell me, what are your concerns? Because I'm interested to hear your concerns on Kelvin Joseph. Because I'm right there with you a little bit for sure.
Okay, this is just me from afar. Okay, and I'm not trying to judge this man. Okay, but I seen his interview. They had Micah Parsons with his number. They had his, I'm just worried about the outside of Dallas, outside when he's not playing football. I'm worried about that.
You think he'll be in the studio a little too much?
Not even this the studio. You know, when you come to Dallas, dog, Dallas is a nightlife. They kick it.
It's distractions.
It's distractions out here. Okay. You went to Kentucky. You had some issues a little before. So I'm just worried about nightlife swallowing you up a little bit, kicking it too much. You're in the rap scene, so you know you're going to know people. You feel me? I guess I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying keep my eye on it, because there's already been issues before. I'm not saying you can't be a changed man or nothing like that. I'm not trying to lay it to you, but I'm concerned about that. I'm worried about that. I can't front. If you want me to be totally honest, I'm not mad at the Joseph pick, but I like Asante Samuel Jr. better. I know Boss had better athletic traits, the speed, a little bit of better the size, but I felt Asante Samuel was just as much of a dog as him, could play the game, but just didn't have the physical attributes. And I feel like Asante Samuel off the field, I ain't going to have to worry about that. I'm a little worried about the off the field because we can talk about on field we want, but it only takes one time for you to slip up and you're like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, and I joke about the being in the studio and because I think those kinds of things, those kinds of off the field things, help give players more perspective about handling their business on the field because you got something to lose. Like you not showing up on Sundays and handling your business, that's going to affect your business affairs off the field and being able to do what you want to do. Now, I know the off the field concerns about things like he got suspended he was at LSU for weed, and there was questions coming out of Kentucky about whether or not the coaching staff really wanted him around once he finally did leave the program. I just hope that once he gets around a group of individuals, especially with some veterans on this team, that will help show him the ropes and give him, because like I say, he's not short on confidence, but he's got to be able to harness that confidence into being a productive player. One, be willing to learn, be willing to be able to come in and be a guy that is willing to listen and grow every single day. And if he can, this is a first round talent. Like there's a reason why folks had him as high as they did. Right. And folks were lauding the fact that the Cowboys were able to get him in the second round when they did because of the upside that he has. So I'm a bank and trust, Dan Quinn and this team based on what they've evaluated from Kelvin Joseph and what they think he can be, because that's going to be, look, this draft is going to be hinged on if Micah Parsons and Kelvin Joseph hit. You could say what you want about Osa Odigizua, some of the other draft picks, but this draft is going to be on whether or not those two hit. And if they do, then this draft will be successful when we look at it 3 or 4 years down the road. But it starts with really Kelvin Joseph being the kind of guy that we think he can be based on the talent that he has.
I totally agree with that. And I'm going to give a super chat and I'm going to bounce off what you just said. Shout out to my guy for the $5 holla, PJ. Hey, ho. I love the $5 holla. He says, I believe our defense will be at least a top 15 this year. He says, also, are we ever going to drop Anthony Brown? What's your thoughts on that? Could he be a surprise cut? Because you could save some money if you cut him.
It's funny because I thought he was going to be a surprise cut when the Cowboys started going through their cuts this offseason.
Right.
You could save a couple of $1 million because I thought, all right, cool. You let Anthony Brown go. I figured they were going to bring back Jordan Lewis, which they did.
Right.
But now you've got slot corners in Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown. I happen to think that Jordan Lewis is the better of the two. I like his dog in him a little bit more than Anthony Brown. Respectfully, no shade to Anthony Brown. But
no shade.
I like the player better in Lewis. So I thought that he was expendable at this point. And we'll see how that corner room looks. I mean, you've got Diggs, Joseph, Brown, Lewis there. You're still trying to figure out what you got in Reggie Robinson. Now you've brought in the Sean Wright out of, Oregon State. You're trying to figure out the depth of this cornerback room. I would still like to see them get after another, potential free agent, in terms of a corner.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep Brown around, he's going to have to be a guy that competes with Jordan Lewis for that starting slot corner position. I would happen to think that Jordan Lewis would beat him out for that job. But, yeah, I thought he was going to be a cap casualty just because you were trying to save some money to do what you had to do, especially in the offseason.
See, here's my frustrating part with this, Kev, is that when you just all those players that you just mentioned, that's not a confident group to me. That's not a confident group that we rolling now week one and we feeling good about our secondary. I like Diggs. Just like when I got that, I like Diggs when they got him in the second round. I liked him so much better in the second round. Just like I said, I didn't want to draft a corner in the first. Now I like Kelvin Joseph in the second. You get what I'm saying? But he's still going to have the pressure of starting because guess what? Who's in front of you? I'm not hating on Jordan Lewis or Anthony Brown, but those are the guys that are in front of you. You need to beat them out. And you need to be starting week one on that side. And when I look at Anthony Brown, I'm sorry. He's just nobody I'm looking at that's anything great. He had the one good year, his rookie year, but ever since then, it's just been super regular. And we should have got a veteran corner because, and we have talked about this on some other shows, is that when rookies come in, they look who are veterans. if you've been there and done that, Kev, and you've been a dog in this league and done that, there's an automatic respect. I don't care. I played the game. If I come in the league and I'm a young guy and there's a dude that's been a dog, I'm going to respect him. But if I come in the league, right, and there's some guys that y'all just been okay, I can take your spot. I mean, there's that thought, Kev, of why should I listen to you?
Yeah, you gotta have veterans.
You gotta have a resume.
Exactly. Because those veterans in the room will show you the ropes, but more importantly, especially like just for example, let's just say that the Cowboys decide to sign Richard Sherman. Mm-hmm. Richard Sherman not only becomes a sponsor in the room for Dan Quinn and what he has been as far as a coach and a player relationship, but this is a guy who can show you how to play the corner position at a high level in this league. So that was my biggest reason for going out and get a veteran corner if you could, more so because you've got a young cornerback room already. And you need guys, if Trevon Diggs and Kelvin Joseph are going to be your futures at the corner position going forward, I would like to see a veteran corner come in as a leader in the cornerback room to really show them how to be professionals in this league instead of having the on-the-job training that they're already going to have, but having that veteran presence will also give them the kind of experience to be able to use it on the field game in and game out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I ain't going to hold you much longer, but I want to bounce off this Parsons pick because that was my favorite pick. I'm going to keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't down on Parsons. I wasn't high on Parsons. I was kind of like in the middle. I was kind of like, if they draft him, I'm not tripping because I like his talent. But I'm going to be honest with you, Kev. I think he could be an animal with the team. And the reason why I say that is because I think it means something when a player really wants to play for a football team. I
agree with
saying
you.
that.
I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm. And when I seen his interview with his dad and his family, they are Cowboys fans. They ain't playing around. They are Cowboys fans. And then when I just look back in his past and I seen how much he wanted to be a Cowboy, it meant everything to him to be a Cowboy. I feel like he's putting that on his chest and saying, I'm wearing this with pride. And I feel like that goes a long way. Not the Hollywood stuff where it looks good. Oh, I'm a Cowboy. No, I feel like when there's real passion, it means something. And I feel because of that, and he has ability. Ain't like he no bum in the streets. He got ability. If Dan Quinn can unleash him, and I made a tweet about this earlier, if Dan Quinn unleashes him and he start getting those sacks early and start making differences early, the team gonna follow him. I feel it. I feel it, Kev.
I love your point about the fact that when there are certain guys who want to be in a certain program, want to put on a certain uniform. And I forgot, I see Brian Peters' comment there. Yeah, Jabril Cox. That's another one. That's one of my favorites too. He's a Kansas City boy, just like me. So I had to throw that in there.
He got to tackle better. He got to get more physical. I ain't mentioning him.
He'll be out in coverage though. He can be out in space though.
He can
do his thing in space though.
He can cover his tail off, but you got to get in. You're a linebacker. You got to tackle now. Don't you run.
But no, I agree with you 100%, man. That was my biggest thing about the Earl Thomas thing. Right. Earl Thomas literally is running into your coach's locker room like, "Hey, come get me. Come get me." I believe in guys who want to come play for your franchise, getting even more out of them because of that pride that they have. So I agree with you 100% on the Parsons pick, man. It was just really tough for me that for the second time in 5 years, you had to go draft a linebacker, an off-ball one at that.
I feel you.
But you're right, man. He's an athletic freak. The dude can run. He can cut. He can do everything that you want from the linebacker spot. Obviously, he's got to get better in coverage, obviously. But there's so much potential there with him that it's really hard to pass up on a guy who has really only played the position for the last couple of years.
And think about this.
He
came in as a true freshman. He got 82 tackles as a true freshman, as a true sophomore. No red shirts, 110. And then he sat out. So he's only played 2 years. So he ain't even sniffed his potential.
No, I agree with you. And that's the biggest thing for me that hopefully the Cowboys will be able to pull that out of him. And it seems like for Parsons, he wants to be here, as you said.
He wants to be great.
Exactly. And I can work with that. Like I can work with that. I've gotten over the fact that, you had to take a linebacker, but if you were going to take one and it's a guy who literally put on his Instagram, like, I want to finish what I started and coming back to AT&T Stadium. All right, cool. I can work with that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Now, what's your expectations for Dak? Dax is coming back after the injury. He got his contract. I'm so happy he got his contract because, Kev, it just feels like it's a total different Dak. You know how it is when you get your money, man. You love playing and all this,
a little
but
more confident.
it's more confident when you know you got your money. You know when that check is coming. It ain't about the money, but
you know it's gonna clear every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know you ain't gotta worry about that. That cash gonna be there. You ain't gotta worry about that. And I see it on Dak. I see it when I look at him. I see him. He's happy. He got his money. You see him that this is my team now. I when I look at him like this is my team now. And also, I feel like Zeke is like, it's your team, Dak. You know what I'm saying? There was that back and forth with Dak and Zeke between the ownership. Zeke was the one that strawed the drink and all that stuff. Now, it's right, Dak Prescott. So how do you feel about Dak in 2021?
I don't want to sound homerish, but I have said
you can sound all kind of homerish. You can sound all kind of homerish on this one right here. Homerish on this one.
I would not be surprised if the Cowboys offense is as explosive as we think it's going to be in 2021. I would not be shocked if Dak Prescott won both Comeback Player of the Year and the NFL's MVP. Like, that is how big of a season I think he can have, given what we saw from him in his first 4.5 games before he broke that ankle, threw for over 1,800 yards in those 4+ games. He was on an absolute tear that I think
so good.
He looks so comfortable doing it too.
Yes.
That was the part that got me. He looks so comfortable making his reads, making his throws, that you're going to see, I think, an even more confident player, as you talked about, with the, contract in his back pocket. And now another year under Kellen Moore as far as his offense is concerned. And when you've got Zeke, hopefully a healthy offensive line with, Tyron Smith and Leo Collins coming back this year, and of course, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup, you got the makings of an offense that is going to score 30+ points, every single week, or has the potential of doing it every single week. And if you're going to win 11, 12 ball games, 13 ball games this year with the 17-game schedule, and you're putting up the kind of numbers that Dak Prescott is going to be putting up in this offense, we think he's going to be in the MVP conversation all season long. So if that's the case, that will obviously put him in the conversation for Comeback Player of the Year, given how gruesome his injury was. So I would not be surprised if Dak was both the MVP and Comeback Player of the Year this year. I think he's that good, and this offense can be that much better with him running that offense again.
Man, I feel you with that. And like you said, this is year 3 with Kellen Moore now. I think they have that, and one thing I heard about, from afar is that all the players, the majority of the players love Kellen Moore. Okay. And that goes a long way when your players love the coaches. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I haven't mentioned nothing offense, Kev, this whole year. I've been talking nothing but defense because I'm not worried about the offense. I'm
not worried about the offense.
I don't need to talk about the offense. I'm not worried about it because it's done proved it to me. Dak done showed his level to me. I feel like everybody is behind him 100%. They're going to go hard because they have their leader and he's got his money. So they're like, we're going to go hard, even harder for you because you got your bread. You ended that year with the injury. We want you to be great. You know what I'm saying? The team, I feel like, feeds off of Dak and they want to give the best for him. So I ain't even talking about the offense. It's this defense. If Dan Quinn can get this magic together or really get this defense together, like you was talking, at least top 15, if they can get turnovers, if they can get that pass rush together where it's formidable, then I feel good. Right now, we'll see. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm sitting back from, I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid. I drank it for 40-some years, Kev.
You sound like my guy Chris Arnold, man. He ain't ready to drink that Kool-Aid
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid at all. But what I will say is I like things in place, but I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid because I still need to see. A lot of people say, "Oh, we playing Tampa Bay week 1 upset." I'm not doing that. I need to see something, Kev, before I say anything upset.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? But I hate to do score predictions because I'm about to let you off with this one. I hate to do score predictions. I mean, not score predictions, but season predictions. But I'm going to throw it out there here. Just from afar, what does it look like with you for a record this year?
I got them going between 10-7 and 11-6. You know, it's funny you mentioned the Tampa Bay game. Yeah, you're not gonna go to Tampa Bay and beat them.
You feel me? First game of the year. Come on, man.
Yeah,
on,
and they getting Super Bowl rings.
You know what I'm saying? No, come on,
no. I love my Cowboys, but damn it, like Tom Brady on Thursday Night Football.
I knew I had a real one on the channel. I knew I
had as much as and look, I want Dak to shock him. I want them to go into Tampa and shock him. I want it. But man, listen,
I can't give that one.
I can't
say 17-0 Cowboys.
No, I can't.
Because people be like this, Kev, like, oh, you ain't a real fan. I can't just say they win in every damn game. I'm not giving them that Tampa Bay game. If they win, hell yeah. But I ain't giving it. I can't. They getting their rings at Tampa, and Tom Brady said, y'all ain't America's team. We trying to whoop your ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I can't do it. Love my Cowboys, but I can't do it. But yeah, 10-7, 11-6, 11-6 at best for me, because you look at, I think it's the last 5 weeks of the schedule. 4 out of those last 5 games are NFC East opponents, and because of Week 17, you were at home against the Arizona Cardinals, which is a trap game because you got the Eagles in the final week of the season. When you start thinking about when you look at the schedule, so look, you got games against Kansas City. That's going to be one hell of a football game because you're going on the road to take on, Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, that's going to be an L because you're going to get torched by Patrick Mahomes.
You're going to
you're going to get torched, man. Like, it is what it is. It ain't no shades. It is what it is. But I think 11-6 will win you this division. I know Washington should be a little bit better. Look, we all know how the Ryan Fitzpatrick movie ends every single year. Right. He's going to play well in the first month or two, and the bottom's going to drop out of the thing.
That's why I mess with you. That's why I mess with you, because people like, Washington going to be good. Ryan, we know Ryan Fitzpatrick. He played good 3 games. Next 4 games, he's going to throw 22 interceptions.
Exactly. And to depend on that defense to carry you for the next, month or two to try and get you to win, that division, okay. And, the Eagles are a dumpster fire right now. They don't have any kind of direction on where they want to go. The Giants, they're underrated defensively. I think they're a lot better. They improved last year defensively. Going into this year, I think they'll be a little bit better. Saquon Barkley's coming back. But Jason Garrett and Daniel Jones are the offensive coordinators.
You feel me? There it is. So, that's all you got to say.
Yeah, I'm out. So if they can win 11 games, that'll win the division for them. And then we'll see what happens come playoff time. But yeah, man, as much as I would want them to walk into Tampa Bay on opening night and get that dub, yeah, I can't pick them in good faith. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't.
I can't do it, and I won't do it. And people get mad at me and say, "Oh man, nope. I ain't gonna do it." And if you want to say I'm the guy, then that's fine. But you know what? I'm a realist.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, prove me wrong. I'm cool.
I'm
cool with somebody saying, "See what happened?" Yeah, I'm cool with being wrong. Cool. That didn't take nothing wrong from me. It didn't make me feel bad. The next game, I'm still like, "What's up?" You feel me? Yeah. But hey, man, look, dog. This was a great time I had with you, man. We're definitely gonna have to do this again. We're definitely gonna have to do this again. I had a great time with you, man. You brought some fire out of me. See, I've been pessimistic Cowboys. So you brought a little bit of fire in me to be like,
you got it, man. You got it. You got all the smoke, man. You bring it, man. I know you do.
You brought a little bit optimistic to me, so I'm like, okay, Kev brought some goods a little bit to me. But hey, man, before we go, let everybody know who hasn't heard of you or heard about you or anything, man. Please give them all your platforms, what you do, all that breakdown before you get off here, man. And once again, thank you very much for jumping on here with me. I had a great time. And once again, let's do this again if we can.
Definitely, man. I appreciate the opportunity. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. I am on the home of the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers 105 through the Fan. Catch me every weekend with my partner, the two-time Hall of Famer, Chris Arnold. Love working with him. And please go to Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube. Doing really well there, covering the Mavericks, the Cowboys. But if you could, drop a subscription on Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube. Really, really appreciate that. Really trying to continue to grow that. And that's my main my main platform right now is really growing that YouTube space. So Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube. Drop a subscription there. We really appreciate that.
Yes, man. Please do. I subscribed as soon as we were talking on Twitter. As soon as he said it, I went and subscribed. And please go check it out. If you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, you really need to go out and check out his channel. It's thorough. It's thorough Mavericks basketball. Even on the Twitter page, on your Twitter page, it's thorough. And like I said, this man has got a lot of things going on, and I just really appreciate you, man. Salutes to you. I wish nothing but the best in your career, everything you're going on, man. It's just, hey, you're just a really good dude, and you got a lot of great presence, man. I'm glad we were able to talk today, and you just brought a lot of fire in me, man. And I'm just saying, man, I just can't give you enough compliments, man. You got it. You're good. And I hope
appreciate you, man.
I hope the best for you because you're really good at what you do.
The same for you, man. Watching you, Skywalker, Steele, Vaughn, Bart, like y'all are out here killing it, man. I love watching y'all. Y'all bring a different energy and passion to Cowboys Nation and what y'all do. So I'm just appreciative that are folks like you that are out there doing your thing, man, because it's folks like you who keep the lifeblood of this Cowboys Nation going. Because all of us are talking heads in some form or fashion, but it's folks like you who bring that fire and that passion to this whole thing, man. So keep doing what you're doing. Much success to you as you continue to grow yourself, man. So I just appreciate the opportunity and invite, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you, and we'll be talking to you soon. Go sub to his channel right now. Go follow him on Twitter. Go do all that, my man. Kevin Gray Jr., 105.3 The Fan. A lot of great things going on, and I appreciate you jumping on the platform today, and we'll be talking to you soon, man, and appreciate you. Salutes.
You got it, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.
All right, man, my guy. I really appreciate, man. Kevin is a beast, man. I was so happy that we finally got to be able to get on together. This dude is good. Like, that dude is good. I wish nothing but the best for him. He is great. A great on-air presence like no other, and he deserved to get on there with the fan, and I'm so glad he did. I'm so glad I got to bring him on right quick for the channel today. Great. And, man, if you didn't get a chance to watch this video, please do. This guy was fire. Please give me fire emojis for Kevin because he's a beast. And before I get off of here, I want to give a selfish plug to a few things. You see this right here? See that right there? That is Loco Candies. You see that? Loco Candies? Loco Candies right here? Loco Candies. My dog, Gambino. Go check out his Facebook page. Gambino, Loco Candies. Let me tell you something. They got all kind of goodness in here. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how good. See, these were gummy worms. This was a big pack of gummy worms. You see what happened, right? They gone. We don't play around here, and I'm not a candy guy, but look at this. See this right here? See, these are the gushers with the tape right here, the candy roll tape, the gushers. Bruh. And what they dip them in, I got the Skittles. These are the Skittles in here. They got gummy bears. These are the Skittles right here. Loco Candies. Go on Facebook and look up this name, Loco Candies. Please go support my guy, Gambino. This is the truth. I would not tell it. If this candy was not good, I would have texted Gambino. I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate you, dog. But I mean, I'll tell you, I'll push it, but I ain't really feeling it. And I would not try to hurt your feelings, but I got to tell you the truth. But this is the real deal. This candy is the real deal, dog. I'm telling you. And it's got the gummy worms. You chew them and it has a bite to it. Like, I can't even explain it. It's like hot, but it's not. It's so good. And after you acquire the taste, it's so good. So please, go support my people's Gambino, Locos Candy. Go on Facebook and look up that name right there. Go get you some. I'm telling you, you will not regret this. You will be addicted. I promise you. You will be addicted. Great low prices. Gambino. Go holla. Go on Facebook. If you have a Facebook page, go look up Locos Candies and go support and go get you some of this. You will not regret it. He sent me a free package. I got it this weekend, and it's the shiznit for real. Mutated. You better holler at this. It's the truth. I will not lie to you. It's the real deal. I ain't gonna promote nothing that ain't good. I'm just keep it real. I'm not gonna promote nothing that's trash. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care how much friends we are. If you my best friend and what you have is trash, I will promote it one time, but I will not continue to promote it because I gotta talk to you and say, I don't think this is a good product, dog. If you get mad at me, you get mad at me, but you shouldn't get mad at me for telling you the truth, in my opinion. So that's where I'm coming from. So yes, shout out to my dog. Great show tonight, man. Great show tonight. I gotta have Kevin on. I could talk with Kevin all day. We could kick it with that man. I like Kev. He does his damn thing, and please go support his page. Please go support him like no other. But yes, I'm gonna get up off here. Please go support Coach J Film Day. Mutated Pixelation. Your book should be arriving soon. I seen Jermaine in here. Jermaine, Ora, you need to holler at me because I got something for you. You were on here. I seen you earlier in here, Jermaine. You need to holler at me. Get in my inbox, Jermaine. I seen you on here earlier. You won something. Yeah, you won something, Jermaine. You need to holler at me. Mutated Pixelation. You should be getting your book like real soon. And Eric Montoya, your gift card should be arriving soon as well. So my members, we got the meeting this Monday. Sorry, last week I had some stuff going on, but this Monday was definitely popping. So my members, the gifts will all be here. Sadiqua, Miss Charles, I'm gonna holler at you either tonight or tomorrow. I got something special for you. What up, Rue? Hey man, Rue, you better holler at this shit. What? That you better go on their website. I'm telling man, go on. I'm trying to tell you, it's the truth. I will not lie to you. You chewing in that stuff. It's a taste that you can't understand. It's like I can't understand this taste. It's just different, but it's so damn good. So I'm just gonna let you know that. But please, I got I want before I get off here. Shout out to everybody out here been supporting them Coach J Film Day videos. They ain't been going like 25,000 views for one video, but for me, they've been doing great for me, and I really appreciate the support on the Coach J Film Day videos. I think they've been doing pretty good for the first year. I was bringing them back from 2 years ago. I said I was bringing them back. So we got a couple another coach. We got some. We got 4 more players. I'm not the offensive line guy, but hey, I'm gonna do my thing with it. And we got 4 more players, and probably gonna do some undrafted free agents. So we got still a whole bunch of videos coming. So please get ready for these videos. We're gonna do undrafted free agents. We're gonna do step up or step off series. I got that coming in a few weeks. Step up or step off. If you don't step up, step off that damn field. And we're going to have videos of who needs to step up or step off. That's going to be a great series that's coming up. We're going to drop 4 more videos of the draft picks. I'm not the offensive line guy, but I'm going to do my best. And then we're going to go through the undrafted players that I think might have a chance. Get ready for them Coach J Film Day videos. You're going to like them. And then, hey, we're going to do the series step up or step off. Either step up on the field or step up off the field. And you're going to like that series. And I got a player, so a few players are going to do that. So get ready for that, man. Members meeting this Monday. Just stay tuned. And I appreciate you, Mutated. What up, DDP, my dog? What up with you, man? Yes, everything's all good with my son. I appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Charles. Yes, everything is good with my son. I appreciate all you guys for the care for my son. As you know, he got into the car accident. I don't know if y'all know he got into a car accident a few weeks ago, totaled his car. A lot of things have been kind of going on with that. I've kind of been going back and forth, trying to help him get a new car. But, he did total his car, but luckily nothing happened with him. I'm so grateful. Nothing did. But thank you for all your prayers. I appreciate you guys for all your prayers for my son. Life is fragile. And the good thing about it was that everybody in the car was wearing the seatbelt too. I'm proud of myself that I preached to my son wearing his seatbelt, because that's all we did when we were in the cars together. I said, you wear that seatbelt no matter what. I don't give a hell if it's uncomfortable, it's weird. If you wearing dress clothes, I don't care. Wear that damn seatbelt, even if you iron a crispy shirt and that seatbelt is touching it and gonna get it wrinkled. I don't care, wear it. So I appreciate my son, wearing that seatbelt. It saved his life. What up, the ninja? What up, my dog? Yes, I'm gonna get at you with them tickets. Just to let you know as well before I close up off here. Thank you for the prayers for my son. But I talked to my guy. Like I said, I'm gonna have tickets available for the games this year. First home game is against Philly. You want to go to it, especially if you're in the Texas area. I got the low on them deals on them tickets. I got them low on them deals, man. So if you're trying to go to a game this year, we were trying to get it popping last year, but the COVID stopped a lot of things. But I've been to games. My dog got the hookup. Man. And as Boothang, we went to like 2-3 games. We went to a couple games, and we had a great time. Hotel, the money is very affordable, especially if you don't got to travel. If you're already in Texas, it's very affordable. You have a great time. But if you're trying to get to a game, man, holla at your boy, man. Holla at me either on my Big Game James page on Facebook. You can email. No, don't email me. Just get in my Big Game. Don't email me. I don't want all them damn emails. If you're trying to do it, get on my Big Game James page on Facebook. There's a messenger. Leave a message. Tell me you're trying to get tickets. Tell me what you're trying to do. And don't hit me up. I'm gonna keep it real. Don't hit me up if you ain't trying to be serious. Okay. Don't get in my inbox because it's a waste of my damn time, because I'm going to get these packages for you. If you're really trying to do it, I'll get you a package and I'll get you a smooth-ass deal. If you ain't really trying to go to a game and you're just talking about it because it sounds good, please don't get in my inbox. Be bothering me with that, because I don't got the time. Only inbox me if you really are trying to go to a game, period. If you're not trying to really go, don't inbox me. I'm just saying. That's all. So, I got the hookup on the tickets, man. If you're really trying to go, get in my Big Game James page, on my Facebook. Where else can you? I think that's, or you can go to my Instagram too, on my Big Game James Instagram. You can Instagram me on my, you can message me on my Instagram, on my Big Game James Instagram. So, or you can hit me up on Twitter. You can DM me on Twitter at Yates James, YAITES, Big Game James. You can DM me right there. So holla at me. Trying to go to a game for real? I got the hook. So let me know. No games. Real talk. I got it for you. So let me know what's good. All right. Yeah, I ain't all out in the open. No, I ain't. But anyway, I'll holler at you guys. I appreciate everybody for the show. Shout outs to my dog Kevin Gray Jr. for the great show. Please go sub to him. He's a beast. And let's get ready. We'll see if we have a show with Boss Cowboys this Saturday. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But definitely Burgers and Blitzes going down this Sunday with my dog Mike White. And keep on supporting them videos. I'm going to be dropping Coach J's Film Days. You'll see who's coming up next. But we'll end this on some music, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Coach J Film Day coming up. Big Game James, you know how we do. And I will be talking to you soon. Let's see what should we end it with? Should we end it with How About Them Cowboys? Yeah. Might as well end it with that. Let's end it with that. How about them Cowboys, all right? You know what my son do. Go support him. Kid Columbus, K, 2 D's for double D titties. You didn't hear from me first. 2 D's for double T ditties. And they're big D's. They ain't small D's, they're big D's. 2 double D's. Kid Columbus, go check them out. How about them Cowboys? You know how we do. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say Wild Boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Big game, first name James. He interviewed, he called the games. Silver blue, you know the name. From the Emmitt Smith to the Michael Irv. We beating skins, shooting birds. I see a bank, snatch it out his fur. Favorite team on the planet Earth. From Monday night to Sunday church. DJ putting in the work. I'm tuning in, no need to search. Through thick and thin and good and worse. Them Cowboys, click like Cowboys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Cowboys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again. Them Cowboys, click like Cowboys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Cowboys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it